everyone, and my name is Devin Austin, aka the Divine Miss D, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour. And today we're going to be interviewing Dr. Cheroll Dossett. So welcome, Dr. Dossett, to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me and inviting me.
What I thought we would start out with is just kind of getting to know you a little bit, and maybe you could tell us where you're from and a little bit about your background back in the United States.
Okay, well, that's been a while because my brand actually is titled after my lifestyle, Overseas Game Changers. And so I was born in Germany, grew up in Great Neck, Long Island. As an adult, I lived in Brooklyn for some time and Queens. Um, my background is definitely a culmination of challenges and my pursuit for living overseas. This actually, Costa Rica is my 30th country.
Wow.
And I'm great. Yes, it's my 30th country. I spent 9 years in China. I am by training, I'm a professor of teacher education, still in China. So I can live anywhere. Due to COVID, I had to leave. And so I continued on as a faculty member, and I'm grateful. That is something that I do love, but my greatest love really is helping people who are stuck, trapped, or lost find purpose. And so part of my mission, and that can be extended in many different ways. So part of my mission is through teaching and training. And I teach on a very unique topic. And this comes from my journey of living overseas and having to deal with the realization of generational issues. One, of course, which is depression. So though I have a number of achievements to my name, I was one of the silent sufferers of depression, which I found out could be traced in my maternal bloodline and my paternal bloodline. So I started studying how to overcome this. And as a result, I'm not a traditional religious person, but I have faith in God. And so through my journey of trying to break this, sorry, it's a plane, trying to break this generational stronghold. So there are things that are strongholds and there are things that are curses. Curses, those things that have come against us, strongholds, are things that have come upon us. But I realized that the dealing with depression, everyone in my family suffered with depression. And I was also scapegoated as well because I was encouraged not to talk about it. And so last year, after moving to so many different countries, I had a crash and it finally came upon me and it rendered me helpless. I lost consciousness of my memory, my value, and so I wanted to do something. So being fortunate enough, working in education, both as an administrator and as an educator, I needed to reevaluate my life. And I said, well, living in China, it was very easy for me. It's very easy for me to live overseas, to live by myself. I just put my finger in the wind and I just go. There's no plan to it. I just go. And one other challenge that I have that God has enabled me to survive, ironically, I'm allergic to the sun. I have what's called PMLE, polymorphic light eruption, where people often would take advantage and say, "Oh, well, I'm melanin skin. I don't have it." But anyway, it compelled me to create a business behind that as well. And so as a mother, and I have 3 grandchildren, I had to figure out a way that, number one, I can't live around my daughter. That's for sure. It's not everybody has that favorable relationship. So I had to figure out a way that I can still be supportive and still and still have happiness. And so I just move around. And so as a nomad, but as an intentional nomad. And so here I am. So my life is so full. So in the process,
when did you start your nomadic life? How long ago has that been?
8 years old.
8 years old?
I would run away. I would run away.
Oh my goodness.
And so I would run away. And then when I would be at home, I felt like a stranger. So, but I would run away, not to squalor. I would run away to abundance, tremendous abundance. I would run away to the homes of many wealthy people. And and I just would I would hide in their closets and I would just look outside their closets and I would see the maids running back and forth. And I said, I want this life for myself. And so, though it was a situation that I was never comfortable at home, God turned that around into a positive. I have to say that. So to make a long story short, because I'm 60, what, two? February, I'll be 62. So I have traction behind me. For sure. I have traction behind me.
You
So I know how to overcome and I know how to deal and I understand the journey and I understand the purpose. And
Wow.
so, to make a long story short, so having a sun allergy, once was deemed blind, had a stroke, God healed me through all of this. And so I continued to push through. And in spite of that, I had written a book, helped other people write 5 books, have a documentary, but I still didn't feel like enough. I still felt very small.
Oh
I
my
felt very
goodness.
insecure because the depression was very strong. I had a couple of attempts on my life when I lived in London, so many things, but it comes out in my story, in my documentary, it comes out in my television programs. I'll be talking about that soon. But
Wow.
needless to say, there was always something inside of me that compelled me to go ahead, that there was something destined for me to do. I knew that part of my destiny required that I live overseas. So that
Right.
was because I started overseas, born in Germany. My father was
Right.
in the military.
That's true.
The
Yeah.
second, the second part that triggered that was that I was destined to do something big that involved my voice because my voice was always muted as a child. Nobody wants to hear you sound like that. The cadence of your voice, it's too dramatic. So I knew that. So there were certain things that I knew. I knew that this issue of generational curse and this idea of lack and scarcity was not my portion. So I knew I was supposed to do something about that.
Right.
So as my journey progressed and many things happened in between along the way, as far as going to school, never having to pay a dime, $85,000 was given to me from various corporations. I knew that I was supposed to do something with this.
Well, let me ask you a
But
question though. Did you ever live in the States?
um, I have some tax records. Yeah. I mean, I have some tax records to certify
So
that.
you do
Yes.
know that place called the United States.
Yes, I have lived in the States. Yes.
Okay.
But my sense of peace and tranquility comes from living overseas.
Yes.
When I was bound, I'll say abound, when I was bound to stay in the US for a few months, I was very depressed. And it caused me to spiral all the way down that I actually ended up going on a fast for 45 days. I said, well, Lord, if there is a God, you're going to speak to me through this fast. So I fasted for 45 days. And from that, I had gotten insight and inspiration to move to Jamaica for 5 months. And so while I was in Jamaica, I know I'm missing a lot. I really am because it's a long life.
I know, but this is very interesting. So continue. I love
It's a
it.
long life.
I love
And
it. You can just take over. I don't have to ask any questions. Go. I'll listen.
but it's been a long life. It's been beset by challenges upon challenges, but still going, the ebb and flow of life. Always being the one in the family, the hero giving, but when I needed, I couldn't get. And if I did get, it would be it would be insulting to my integrity. So I had to learn how to love myself.
Right.
And so through all that, even when I went back and I remember, I had a child in high school, I was told I'll never be anything, never do anything. And I was just going to be disgraceful. But I didn't listen to that because I kept looking at the times in my life that God healed me. And I said, no, I know there is a God. I know there's something bigger in me. And so my daughter is 42, 43, and I have 3 grandchildren, 23, soon to be 18, and one 17. I thank God that I don't look like a grandmama, if there's such a thing, because I have to keep moving. I have to keep moving.
I hear
And
you.
I have to keep moving. And so keeping myself youthful and relevant is important to me because where my home is going to be, I'm not sure. The longest I ever lived anywhere was in China. I spent some time in Africa. I spent time everywhere. So, and it's okay because I just go according to what I hear in my head.
Right.
Try this, and I just try that, and I go. In fact, I was dispatched to Costa Rica in 48 hours. I didn't even know I was coming. I just heard in my spirit, go to Costa Rica. I said, okay, no problem. But anyway,
Well, let's go back to China for a minute. So you were in China for 9 years.
yeah, I loved it.
Okay. You learned the language?
Indian, a little bit, Indian. And I speak better Spanish than I speak Chinese. Chinese is very difficult.
Yes.
But it was really powerful because, it was the first time I gotta tell this story. It was the first time they seen an African American at the university. I was teaching in a PhD program. Now they have a word in China, and you can tell I spent some time in Brooklyn. They have a word in China which means not the way it sounds. It's called nigga, right? Nigga and jigga. Now I'm from the 60s. And when I hear the word nigga and jigga, I was ready to jump across the table. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got my nigga. But it means this and that. So I had to develop the cultural sensitivity to be patient, to immerse in the culture and not be reactionary. And I think that's one of the challenges I've learned living overseas, that you need to learn the language, and you also need to be patient. So I love China. I taught over 1,000 students. I literally love China.
Wow.
My book, it reflects my life in China. It's entitled Bed-Stuy to Beijing, Unapologetically Black in China. My documentary is entitled Coloring Outside the Lines. So I play on words as an educator. So I've always lived abroad. I'm comfortable in that space. There are 500,000 African Americans and Africans from the diaspora that come to China every year. People don't even know that.
No.
There are 500,000 in an area called, I would visit an area called Chocolate City. It's like the Bronx of Guangzhou. It is a very fascinating culture. I was able to develop and create a business of impact there, working with others, helping others build their confidence and their core competence. China is a beautiful country. I wish I could have stayed. I didn't want to leave. In fact, I was asked to leave within 24 hours, and I left with only the clothes on my back and 3 articles of clothing. And that's how I returned to the US. So I had to leave everything in my house. I had to leave everything. So I'm not attached to things. So I had to leave everything. And so I ended up becoming depressed because many of us, we form our identity through our things.
Right.
And God was teaching me to I'm going to elevate you, you're going to have to learn how to let go of your things. And so I learned that valuable lesson of letting go of my things. And so I had to let go of my things. But then I ended up traveling around first. I went to Cambodia, I worked with some prostitutes, and I worked with some prostitutes, helped to get them teeth. They didn't have any teeth. So I just took it upon myself to create an initiative to get, all the prostitutes' teeth.
Wow.
So they didn't, their work was being impacted.
Right.
So their work was being impacted. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to help contribute, to their cause.
Right.
So,
well, when you got this calling, that you said that you were gone to Costa Rica in 48 hours, did you know where you were going? You just and said, okay, I'm going to Costa Rica, and jumped on a plane?
Exactly right. I left Jamaica first. It was October the 3rd. No, it's October the 1st. I was invited to speak.
Is that this year? I mean, no, yes. October.
Yeah.
Just 21?
A few months ago. Mm-hmm.
Oh, few months ago. Okay. So, well, you're really new. Okay.
So I was invited to speak at a conference, and they asked me for the theme, and the theme was in between, women in between. And it was appropriate because I had been in between. I had been in between my purpose. I had been in between my location. I just had been in between. And so once I gave this presentation, it's now turned into an annual conference because it was so successful. But I was like, well, Lord, where am I going next? And I heard in my ear, Costa Rica. I didn't know when. I was like, okay, no problem. I didn't know how I was going to do what I was going to do or when I was going to do. I just said, okay, no problem. And so after giving that particular speech, it was on a Tuesday, and I was visiting a girlfriend I had been friends with for 30 years. There was some issues with her marital relations. But anyway, the partner needed me to leave. He was like, you're going to have to go. And I was like, well, where am I going? Then I heard Costa Rica. And I heard, and this is true, I heard the Lord say to me, you don't have anything to take with you. Get ready. I said, well, I got to get ready. He said, what do you got to do? Wash those clothes in the corner. And literally, once I washed those clothes in the corner, I left in 48 hours. I said, okay. I did all the paperwork online. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't know how I was going to do. Because I was in between, also in between semesters, between schools. So the flow was a little stagnant. Right. I was in between. But in the process of being in between, I had an opportunity. And I was like, well, Lord, this is good. And so the opportunity was for me to start teaching on Clubhouse. So I started teaching on Clubhouse, and my area is very specialized. I teach on what's called the courtroom of heaven. And people understand courtroom of heaven is a legal and I call it earthly realm I teach on the spiritual realm of Courtroom of Heaven, where a person can find freedom and comfort to overcome those strongholds in your life, the depression, the repression, the oppression. And I teach on that. And so within the last 3 months, my students groups have grown from, well, now we have 610 members. I'll put it like that. And I'm on Clubhouse every day, giving seminars, weekly seminars on different aspects of the Courtroom of Heaven, dealing with issues of narcissistic abuse, personality disorders, dealing with lack, poverty mindset, dealing with today's topic is on the spirit of Imani, Imani, which is the spirit that people carry with them when they have fear. So I break it down very methodically and I talk about that. My coaching business derived from this as well. So you have to understand, I'm coming out of a depression, coming out of no money for 10 months because of the depression. It got the best of me. And then I started focusing on doing things that were, I call esoteric, they were spiritual. And so it's grown very well. My coaching business has gone very quickly and it continues to grow. And in the process, I was offered an opportunity for a television show. And I had a small show before. It was on Preach the Word Network. And Preach the Word Network, I was only committed to the Atlanta market. Well, that show had grown so well that now I have a market size starting January, 50 million viewers. And so they offered to me as a gift. They said, we believe in what you're doing. Your story is incredible. I know I'm missing a lot of the pieces in between. And they offered it as a gift for me. And I paid a little bit of administrative fee, but it's no way in comparison. So I'm in 50 countries starting January the 11th. And then I also met people who were at the conference and they heard me speak and they offered me an opportunity to have my own channel. And I thank God because with my channel, now I'm able to executive produce my own shows. I have 12 new shows launching in January as well. So I have a viewer audience of 80 million. This is God.
Well, how will we be able to reach you though? I mean, the channel, how will we be able to get the channel here in Costa Rica, or can we?
It's in Costa Rica. It's going to be in Costa Rica. You have to download. Yeah, that's one of the markets. That's one of the markets, Costa Rica. Perfect. And it's XOD Network. It's called XOD Network. I'm in conjunction with Black House Media Group. The CEO is a friend of mine. Now she's a friend because she heard me speak. And so in January, 80 million views in households. This is truly a miracle. Truly.
Sure, for sure. So do we have to get cable? Is it going to be like a cable network?
No. I just went to my phone and I just go to my phone and I download XOD and my thumbnail is there in terms as the channel owner. I invested in the channel. So I invested also in Preach the Word. So now that I'm a part of their community. So Preach the Word is for those in the Christian community, but I'm a conscious person. So it's for belief, faith-based. And my show is the original OGs, Overseas GameChangers, Courtroom of Heaven. And I'll be sharing my experiences with people who have engaged the Courtroom of Heaven through my coaching program. So it's all tied together. So my coaching program, my books, helping other people produce their books. All of this happened in, when did I come to Costa Rica?
Not long ago.
Since I've been in Costa Rica.
About 15 minutes ago, I think.
So since it's happening so fast. And even since I've been here, I've been able to start a music production company. Yes, there's a young sister. Oh my God, I love her like my daughter. Her name is Blaze Capone, Elisha Bellamy. If you're listening, I don't know if you are, but shout out. We connected because she was a student of mine in the Courtroom of Heaven. And everyone who is connected to this media, I call it the 7 Mountains of Influence project, because we want to take over media, conscious media. And so she and we have collaborated. Her music is awesome. We're getting ready to promote it. We're going to shoot a music video in Costa Rica. So I'm going to be calling on you to get local.
Okay.
To be a part of that video. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
we're going to shoot a video here. So it's been like a whirlwind.
Boy, I bet.
It's been a whirlwind. It's like, and I haven't even gone outside since I've been here, maybe to Walmart, but that's
I know, because I was going to ask you where you've been, but it looks like you've been so busy doing other things that you haven't even had an opportunity to explore.
No, not yet. This, and I understand that
Oh,
because
there's
I'm being
time.
separated. Because in life, either you're isolated or you're separated for such a time as this. For
Right.
me, I'm being separated because my creativity is just oozing. It's just I can't even get to sleep. But where I'm living is big enough. I feel like it's like a refurbished warehouse, which is magnificent.
Right.
So I have enough space to
Is
walk
this the back?
around.
Is this the
Yeah, yeah,
background?
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
Wow, that is
it's
pretty
huge.
cool.
It's huge. So it's a refurbished
Love
warehouse
it.
and in San Jose, and the park is right across the street, but I never get to
Oh,
it. I only get to the door to reach out to Uber Eats and come back in. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad they have it here. But
right.
anyway, it's just been an amazing journey. I know I love Costa Rica. When I get to see it, I
Right.
know I will.
Yeah. But when you get out there, you'll love it even more.
Right.
When you
But
get a
right
chance to
now,
get
but
out.
right now I love it. I love it because I spend my days are 17-hour days and longer because
Right.
I have clients, I'm teaching classes. The university system, I'm off. I'm creating, I'm helping other people write their books. I've written a short book in between. It's called A Little Cream in My Coffee.
Mm.
And that and that and that really talks about my life as a person who suffers with PMLE, what it's
Wow.
like to have that sun allergy. And a little cream in my coffee is not what you think, that most people think, but I love words, so I play on words. It has to do with my first solo trip abroad to Amsterdam. A little
Oh.
and how I ended up in the hood. And I started realizing, I'm like, oh my God, there are Black people that live everywhere, but if you don't travel, you don't know. And so my aim is to bring awareness to Black and brown individuals that you can lead an impactful life overseas.
Yeah.
And that's what the OGs are about.
Well, what happens with the sun allergy that you have? How does that
Um,
manifest itself? Because there's a lot
well,
of sun in Costa Rica.
yes, and I've lived in Jamaica. I know how to master.
That's
I've
true.
learned how to
Yeah.
navigate it now. So if I'm not careful, I can get
Oh.
lesions, very painful lesions that whelp up, and they're black in color, and it almost looks like it is marshmallows.
Oh.
And it's very painful to the touch. And in fact, I'm confined to a bed for 2 to 4 weeks. I can't
Wow.
function, I can't move, so I have to wear, sunblock, hats, umbrellas. I have to cover from head to toe. But it's gotten better. There was one time I wouldn't go out. I suffered with acrophobia. I was scared to go outdoors because the idea of getting an attack
Oh yeah.
traumatic. And so
Yeah.
I've learned over the years how to master it. It's obvious because I've gone to 30 countries and I've lived in a majority of them. So I've learned how to master it with umbrellas. And, I love China because in China, everybody uses an umbrella. So that was the first time I didn't feel like an outlier. I'm like, everybody has an umbrella. But
Well, they
even when
use them here too.
that's good to know. So I
Yeah,
know
they use them here.
I can
So
find some.
there you go.
And so that was my chat, but I'm not perplexed by it. I'm not tormented by it anymore because I've managed. Plus, I created my own skincare line from natural herbs and plants that it's called Noir, Nana's Organic
Oh my
Essentials, and
God.
Nana's Organic Essential. And the reason why I had to learn how to do this is because I've been to the doctor in over 15 years. And I've always been intimidated by the doctor. So I became, after the stroke, I just became a vegan.
Right.
But once when I had the burn, and then I ended up spilling hot water on my face, 2019. So boiling water scalded my face, second and third degree burns, and with the sun allergy on top of that, so my skin looked devastating. But then I prayed about it, and then when I went to the hospital, of course they rejected me because they haven't seen a Black look like burned and damaged skin. And I just prayed about it, and I healed my skin through the use of tilapia fish skin. I wrapped my face in tilapia fish skin for 3 days with rose water. I took the tilapia off my skin and everything, and moi, what you see today. And so there's some more, there's some more steps to
Girl,
it.
you're amazing.
I created the aftercare cream, which is, and I'm looking for shea butter, pure shea butter, because that's the basis of my solution. And I use essential oils, and all of this is divinely directed. I can't tell you I had a chemistry student who told me how to measure, but before that, I would just do like the old grandmother, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But if anybody asked me to replicate it, I couldn't. So now I started what's called a concierge skincare business, meaning I only work one-to-one. So if you have a special
Oh,
skincare issue, then
wow.
I will make it for you. I don't want to mass
That's
produce it
perfect.
because I feel like that's been a gift for God to heal my skin and to show with my before and after pictures that you can. And so I'm a big believer in faith. I'm a big believer in healing. And I know that's a gift and a call. And so, now I'm at the point where they're all coming together. How they're coming together, I'm not even worried about it. I'm just doing it. I see people and I see my producers in my TV channel, they're developing. I see people in my coaching business, they're developing. I see people in my book collaboration project, they're developing. I got a lot of joy. I get a lot of joy.
For sure.
I get a lot of joy.
Wow, that's
So in terms of Costa Rica, how long I'm here, I don't know. I know I want to go to South Africa in the spring, not to stay, but for a
right.
conference. But I decided while I was here, I'm very fascinated by the Black and Brown community here. So I know I'm going to do something. I know I'm going to create a film, create a television series. I know I'm going to, because now I have the
Mhm.
capacity to do that because I own my own channel.
Right.
Hello.
Right.
Hello. I can do what I want to finally. So, so I know that's going to come. I'm not going to rush it. Everything is new within the last, not 48 hours, but within the last 4 months. 3 months.
48 hours.
In the last few months, everything has, since I went to the courtroom of heaven and I got that depression off of me, my
Right.
life has changed just like that. Because no longer I have to deal with that hanging over my head. I'm
Right.
not good enough. I'm not worthwhile. I'm not valuable. I have this sun condition. All those fears have been taken off of me. I don't walk in fear. And so my aim is to help other people not walk in their fear, walk in their purpose, regardless of how you start. Your ending is not the same. If you have no money, that's not a problem because I will show you how you can develop and expand. Because most of the businesses I started only with faith and listening very carefully to that small voice. If I didn't listen to that small voice of putting tilapia skin on my face, it wouldn't look healed. If I didn't listen to the small voice about traveling from China to working with the prostitutes in Cambodia, then to Belize, then to Mexico, I wouldn't have ended up in Costa Rica. But then I was dispatched. I tell people I was dispatched in 48 hours, and that's just what I did. Not
Wow.
knowing where I was going, how I was going to do, and all the businesses started coming together as soon as I landed here. I was
Wow.
like, oh, I can do this and I can do this. And as soon as I landed, before it was slow, but it's been accelerated, something about the energy here in Costa Rica. So I can only imagine when I get down to the coast, how that's going to be. But right now I'm planted in a lovely place. I can stay as long as I want. That's a blessing because I had asked for it already before I arrived. They were like, oh, as long as you want to, doctor, that's as long as you want to. Okay. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm
good.
very happy about that. Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. So I thank God.
So, anything else you want to tell us about your any of your other projects? Anything else we
I
should
think
know
that's
you
it.
share?
I think that's about it. I have 12 great shows coming. Oh my God. And the shows are different aspects of my journey. So I have one show called Inconspicuous.
Hmm.
God bless you. Inconspicuous really is my life played out through someone else's story as well. Inconspicuous deals with people that you wouldn't think were challenged. And so if you look at me, you wouldn't think that I'm allergic to the sun.
No.
You were like, what you talking about? You look good, girl, for 60-something years old. I'm like, thank you. And so inconspicuous. And so it deals with many people who have these ailments and challenges that you can't see in plain sight. So
Right.
that's one show. Another show, oh my God, I just love them. Another one is called Father's Pledge. And it really brings awareness to fathers who are often invisible and how they want to be a part of their child's life or their children's life. Beautiful, beautiful. Then we have so many, have another one called the triage room. The triage room actually works in consultation with myself because I deal with the legal aspect, the divine laws, and this other producer, they deal with stories related to people who get freedom and comfort through their medical challenges that have been passed down through generations. Beautiful, very excited about that. Then I have, of course, the Firmament, the making of an icon, which features Blaise Capone and her journey from, I'll say, from, how can I put it politely? from the streets to the streets paved in gold. It's her spiritual journey. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Extremely, extremely gifted. And we, like I said, she's the music producer. We collaborate. And it shares her journey in real time, what it's like to give up the other life and the life that which is not pleasing and positive. And she's in her early 20s, and it's just a beautiful sister. She's like my daughter. And I'm helping her develop her skill. Gifted already, naturally gifted, divinely gifted. But now she's the youngest TV producer in the network. So I'm excited for her. Then we have, oh my God, it's 12. We're gonna have 20 by February. We're gonna have 20. I'm gonna have 20 because my aim is to become a network owner. But we're gonna have 12. And all of this was just divinely because I said yes. I just surrendered because I didn't have the benefit of what do you call it? Retirement. Yeah, I didn't have the benefit of retirement income because I never stayed anywhere because I'm always moving around. So I decided to invest in myself and in other people so I can have residual income so I can live anywhere I want to. What better way, I said, to own about a TV channel. Right. So you can't get better than that. You can't get better than that. Yeah. So boy. You can't get better than that. So it was well worth it. And so I did that. I did the work. And now I can enjoy. We're always looking for advertisers. If you want to have access to 30 million households and devices, if you want to have access to 50 million, you want to have access to 80 million, holla at your girl. I mean, really, so.
One question I wanted to ask you is, I know that you just recently came back from what we call a border run or a visa run because your 90 days had expired. And during COVID, we have a lot of people that are a little bit concerned or interested in how that process works, because it has changed quite a bit since pre-COVID. So can you tell us a little bit about what your experience was?
Well, I'm very thankful because it was very simple. I went back to the States, but I stayed over 29 days. So I was very concerned about that. And so all I did was I went to the embassy and I explained my situation. I thought there was going to be some penalty, but I'm also a UN ambassador at large. So that helped to have my shield. And they were like, oh, no problem. No problem. So it comes in handy. And so it comes in handy. So it was no problem. I went back to Miami for 3 days and I came right back and nobody asked me anything. They welcomed me back to Costa Rica. They said, well, enjoy your stay and we're happy to have you in the country. And I said, God bless you.
That's wonderful. You did have to buy more insurance, right? You did do 90 days this time, right?
Yeah, I bought the insurance before I left. So I was trying to do it backwards. I said, well, let me get the insurance and let me try to go to Panama or Nicaragua, but it didn't work out. Right. And I was, I didn't want to feel stressed. And I remember reaching out to you and I was like, what should I do? And I just stayed still and I just meditated. I said, Lord, what do you want me to do? And I got clear instructions what to do. And I did step 1, step 2, step 3. It was easier to do this border run than to come in the first time. First time they asked me questions. This time they already had
it. Why are you here?
This time they had it in the system. They said ambassador at large, no problem. So that carries a little bit of weight.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So I thank God for that. So I thank God.
Well, okay. Well, you're back now, and I understand you have some music. Are you producing music, writing music? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've always wanted to sing, but I'm not a singer. I'm a speaker. So, but then I said about a couple of months ago, I said, I would love to do voiceover for music, but the type of music is very different. It's not gospel, but it has fusions of biblical verses. I connected with this young sister who is like a daughter to me. She is a genius when it comes to music, putting together beats and things and sounds. And so we collaborated. And this music is inspiring. It teaches you about keep your head above water, not to give up. All our music is conscious music. It's beautifully done. She is the music producer for the channel, for our shows. She's the music producer for future documentaries, movies, extremely prolific. I'm amazed. I'm grateful that I'm mentoring her. She's going to be a powerhouse. Blaze Capone. We were rejected. We're seeking God to find our purpose We were sent together at a particular time in our life where we needed each other. I needed her to birth her purpose. She needed to help me fulfill my purpose. So, you know, I birthed my.
It was already birthed.
Right. So I needed her to help me fulfill my purpose and all those who walk with and move underneath the Overseas Game Changers brand. So I don't want to talk too much. I just want to play Water. I get excited. We collaborated on the arrangement. She did most of the stuff, but I added the I don't want to tell it.
Okay.
I want to tell it. I don't want to tell too much. This is Water. Yes.
Wow.
We're working on that. We did all of this while in Costa Rica last couple of months.
Wow.
Keep your head above. Oh my God. I was a former DJ and we just combined together, and I like trendy music.
Boy.
Powerful, powerful. Keep your head above water.
Wow.
We have about 12, 13 songs. We all do the voice. So it's just powerful, powerful.
Excellent.
Keep your head above water.
So you're sharing that song, and then what other songs are you going to share with us here on the station?
The ones that we can release. There's another one, different styles, but there's two more that I can share. The other ones we're still working on the documents for.
So are these released already? These haven't been released yet, or they're going to be released?
Water is the only one that's available, and
where do we find it though?
You can find it. We have a digital store. You can download it directly from the digital store, shoply.com /The Firmament.
Okay.
That is ready to go. We're going to release the entire album soon. We're going to shoot the music video for Water in Costa Rica in January. Sometime in January. This is all God inspired. This celebrates my life, her life, coming together, and really celebrating and expressing our love for God, taking whatever we have and letting Him use it and guide it to inspire the masses.
Right.
So I'm really excited. I love music. I love to dance. God is moving, and we do it right from this space here in San Jose. Wow. Yes.
Oh, I love it. This is great. This is wonderful.
Yeah. The music is amazing. We have another one, Paradise, and Paradise reminds me of Costa Rica. The vision. She has an idea of paradise. I have my vision of paradise. I want to share that one real quick if we have a minute.
Sure.
Paradise, yes. You know, this is what we learned. You know, in life, we have setbacks. You can lose everything, your mind, your family, your resources. But if you hold on to your faith and you just hold on, sometimes it's just pushing through one more day can change your entire life. And that happened to me. I lost everything, finances, my mental capacity, my family I'm not attached to, connected to. I ended up on a love seat, not knowing what I was going to do next. And I just knew that I just needed to push through. And because I was obedient and I pushed through one more day, God has released all of this in a matter of the last couple of months. And it keeps coming. It keeps coming. I can't keep up with it. So I thank God.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with us today and sharing your music. And you're such an inspiration.
I look forward to creating something here too in Costa Rica as well in terms of for television and documentary. I knew I was going to do something. I don't know what it is yet, but things are moving forward. So I thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're certainly welcome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.